do these countries have in common? China, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Pakistan, Egypt, Somalia, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, and the United States. I'll give you a hint. It's not the Paris Accord. It's the death penalty. These are the top 10 countries who execute the most prisoners. And the US isn't even the last one. It's number 7. Personally, I'm against the death penalty, or as I call it, grown-up abortion. I'm not saying we shouldn't punish people who commit horrible crimes. I think they should be locked up forever. But life in prison is much worse punishment than death. It's got to be so boring. I hate being bored. How many times have you been watching a one-man show and you've turned to your friend and said, "Please kill me"? And that was after an hour. Do you know how many hours there are in a lifetime? Probably a lot. Now, I know many of you watching have very exact opinions on who deserves to live and who deserves to die, but guess what? It's not up to you. I think Kate Upton deserves to be my girlfriend. But ultimately, it's not my choice. It's her father's choice or whoever owns her now. Death leaves no room for error. One study estimated that 1 out of every 25 death row inmates may be innocent. And 23 out of every 25 have their own Netflix documentaries. Even in the cases where the victim's guilt is undeniable, executions are problematic. In April, Arkansas executed 4 people in the span of a week. The first, Liddell Lee, had what we might call not the fairest trial. The ACLU filed for a stay claiming Lee was mentally disabled, but the court refused. Then Lee was denied new DNA testing. He was also appointed a lawyer who showed up in court drunk. Oh, and one of the prosecutors in the case was banging the judge. Totally unethical, but they did later get married, so there's a happy ending. Not for Liddell Lee, though. He's dead. It must be awkward talking to that couple at dinner parties, right? Like, so how did you two meet? Funny story. We were both trying to kill a retarded guy and we just clicked. Yes, I know I'm not supposed to say that word. I swear we tried to find another word, but nothing else really worked for that joke. What's more upsetting is that people will be angry at me saying the word retard than they are about Arkansas killing one of them. But here's my main problem. Even if you ignore every issue I just listed, the death penalty itself is unconstitutional. It violates the 8th Amendment prohibiting cruel and unusual punishment. We love the Constitution in this country, and I guess that the people who like the death penalty are also big fans of the First and Second Amendments. But you can't just pick and choose which amendments to follow. And here's how I know it's cruel and unusual. Most Americans don't want to see people killed by a firing squad or a guillotine because that would be f***ed up. So instead, the majority of executions are done via lethal injection, which works like this.
The first drug administered is sodium thiopental, a barbiturate. It acts as an anesthetic used to render the person unconscious. The second drug is pancuronium, a muscle relaxant that causes paralysis. The final drug is potassium chloride, which stops the heart, causing cardiac arrest.
Pixar's gotten bleak. Still, less sad than the movie Up. The whole idea is to keep the inmate from thrashing around, so we don't have the stomach watching a person die brutally. We want to feel like he's just peacefully drifting off to sleep. But lethal injections don't always work. Trust me, I live in LA. I see botched injections every day. This is how one of the Arkansas inmates spent his last moments.
Lawyers claim that officials spent 45 minutes trying to place the IV line into Jones' neck and that he was gasping for air.
Getting poked unsuccessfully for 45 minutes sounds like having sex with a teenage me. I assume afterwards Arkansas went around to all of its friends and told them how great it went. Oh yeah, I killed him. He was begging for it. Then I killed him again afterwards. He couldn't get enough of me killing him. He loved it. Rather than take their time and do it right, Arkansas rushed to execute these prisoners because the lethal drugs were about to go past the kill-by date. Thank God they didn't expire. Those death row inmates could have gotten sick or something. Why do only legal drugs have expiration dates? There's no use-by date on heroin. Well, maybe there is, but no one's ever kept it long enough to find out. No heroin user's ever gone, I'll do half now and I'll put the other half in the freezer for later. Look, let's be honest about it. When we say execution shouldn't be cruel and unusual, we really mean not cruel and unusual for us. If we're going to be a nation that kills people, we need to own it. I say we go back to executions by a good old-fashioned stoning. It's cheap, rocks don't expire, and we'd have one more thing in common with some of our friends.